I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday, and I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans.
Okay, so there are just like so many things to be said about her video. So many things to be said about her video. First of all, I looked into her comment section. I didn't look too deeply. The first thing I want to address about this is people in the comments saying like this administration doesn't care, or this is why we vote a certain way. Here's the thing. When recessions and depressions happen, we've gotten good at this. Like, economists know better. Recessions show signs much earlier, much earlier than they actually show up. It, like, a recession or a depression is like it's like a pimple. If you look, the signs are there. They've been there for a while. If you're feeling it now, cat's out of the bag. If you check my page, you'll see I sell life insurance. So I work in the financial services space. Since 2020, I've been hearing people try to like gauge and figure out like, when is the market going to crash? Since 2020, we've been asking like, when is it going to crash? When is it going to bottom out? What's going to happen? When is it going to bottom out? So the fact that like we're feeling this now, this has been on the rise for a while. It's been the last people who feel it are the people who aren't thinking about it because they're not thinking about finances that way. So before anyone hops in my comments and says you're blaming people, I'm not blaming the everyday person. I'm actually blaming our school system, because our school system didn't teach us to think like this. She said a couple things that were so good. And she mentioned how many degrees she had, how much experience she had, and how none of that protected her from not losing her job and her source of income. And in her caption, she talked about how like all these different things that we need in life are so significantly attached to us being able to function in the regular world and feel safe. Our medical, our retirement, and our standard income is attached to having a job. Y'all, we were sold to get jobs in America, in a country that is dependent on the building of businesses. How does that make sense? A couple days ago, I found out that like that 300,000 black women were laid off in this year, and it was mostly because, and then I also found out that the largest employer in the United States is not a business. Well, technically it is. It's not a business. It's the United States government. And as I put all of those things together, I said, this was all a recipe for freaking disaster. It was a recipe for freaking disaster because I have silently been watching the more I've learned about how our country is set up, I'm like, this does not make sense. We are literally building a country of hyper dependency on the government, because you create a society where more people are dependent on jobs. A lot of these jobs are from businesses, massive corporations, as opposed to smaller businesses. Okay, so these massive corporations are getting their money, one, from, of course, their consumers, the people that they serve, but two, from government funding and government contracts. And then the people who aren't working in the private sector, i.e. corporate, they're working in the public sector, i.e. the government. So everything is tying back to the government. And so they've low-key created an entire society that is dependent on them. And so we bend to their whim. Y'all, when I heard this girl talk about all her credentials, I'm like, ma'am, like, cry, be pissed off, be angry, feel all the things, but for the love of God, go build something. Because the biggest act of rebellion and the best thing you could do for society is to go build a business. Build a business on your own. Because yes, we are having conversations in academia and in our societies and in circles about how the country only caters to businesses. The country only caters to businesses. The country has not been catering to small business for a very long time. And small business is actually what's going to, I believe, I could be an idiot, but small business is what's going to help correct the nonsense in our society. More people betting on themselves, going out and building something useful that actually serves the people of their community and solves a real problem. Y'all, like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that we're in this position, and I'm so sorry about what this looks like. But if we want to be real and we really look at our economy for the past, I want to say since 2015, when the last corporate bailout happened, when the banks played with everybody's money and then led to a recession, when the last corporate bailout happened, under Obama, which is why I was just like, vote blue. Look, the government is not on your side. Like, they're just on maintaining power. Like to me, look at them, like they just want to maintain power. And the thing that I think Americans have forgotten, if you read our history books and you stop looking at stuff like, we're a colonizer country, like stop looking at that stuff. That stuff is irrelevant. Pay attention to the point. Our country is supposed to be a country in which the people have their knee on the government's neck. You work for me. You work, and like, that's not how we roll. And so we let companies get too big because everyone was told, go to college, get a degree, get a job. Not go to college and go build something. Go to college, work for someone, build your skill set, and then go build something in the country that was meant for builders. No, you were told to go work for someone else to the day that you die. So you were told to be dependent for the rest of your life. How does that make sense in a country that was never actually intended to be that way? It doesn't. We have been set up for failure. And it's so funny. I read a book last year where someone looked up and they said that, well, not someone, quite a few someones. It was studied in the 1970s where people were looking up and saying, is this what we fought for? Is this what I always aspired to do? To have a degree, to go work a job, to leave my house by 7:30, 8 a.m., to be at work for 9, to take lunch at 12, to then go back to work from 12:30, 1 o'clock, to still be at work at 5, to come home and to really have no adventure, no purpose. Is this what I wanted? Is this what I lived for? And people were looking up and they were feeling lost. And they've been feeling that since the 70s, guys. People have been documenting this feeling of lack of fulfillment, lack of purpose, and confusion in the workspace since the 70s. And then all we did was go get more degrees, go get more certifications. Wow, my light turned off. It's fine. Go get more degrees, go get more certifications. But we actually never understood that, like, work is supposed to be purposeful. My girl, the girl whose videos reacted to, I like, when I listened, I was like, you're not even talented. You are diligent, which is better. You worked to build your skill set. And it's not worth it to sit here and, it's worthwhile to stabilize yourself. But man, do you know how desperate the marketplace is for someone like you who knows how to lead and knows how to do marketing? I sincerely hope that anyone who is frustrated, the biggest sense of rebellion that you can have against the government is to say, I'm not going to cry over you. I'm going to go build something and make sure that I serve my community and make money myself. I'm going to stop pouring into corporations to take care of me. Like, people talk so badly about, like, Amazon, Walmart, Target. Look, if you're mad about it, then be about it. Stop giving them your money. Give your neighbor who makes the same thing your money. Give the smaller business your money. That is this it's so, like, I could go on and on about this because, like I said, I've been observing it for a while. Like, if we really want to be mad, we have to stop being so individualistic and say, be willing to sacrifice our comfortability for pursuing creating a better America and creating a society in which everyone is tapping into their untapped potential. The corporate bailout, it was a fallacy. It was like, oh, everything's okay. Everything hasn't been okay. I've said this to people before. I'm like, y'all are mad Trump won. The fact when populist styled presidents win elections, it is a sign that something is wrong deeply economically. And it has been wrong for a while. So if he won in 2016, the economy was still a problem in 2016. This is not new. What's new is how many people are going to feel it this time. The question we have to ask ourselves is, what are we going to do with it? It's not going to take everyone to get a small loan of $1 million to become a business owner. It's going to take creativity and grit. It's going to take becoming a real villager, which I can tell you I've struggled with. Being a real villager means tapping into your community. I'm about to run out of time on this video, but yeah, if you want to hear me make more videos like this, comment below. If you think I'm an idiot, please comment below. Love to hear it. Have a great day, y'all. Peace.